This is our first monthly jam that we're going to do together. We're going to try this out in 2026. Thanks for coming to New York. It's always good to see you in person. We have one common interest. Well, we probably have many, but one is soccer, or football, as the rest of the world calls it. You're a big Man United fan. I'm sorry, it's been a little bit tough. How did you become a Man United fan a long time ago?
Well, Rick, it's great to be here. It's great to be in New York. Great to be with you. It's a sad time to be Man United right now, but I tell you, we've had our glory years. We won the Premier League 20 titles. Going back to the 1990s. So I've been a Manchester United fan for over 40 years. And I became a Manchester United, or Mancunian, because my uncle went to school in Manchester and he kind of converted me to the red side of Manchester. So I've been a Man United fan for 40 years. And now, of course, it's a bit of a different story.
And are they going to pull together their coaching situation, you think?
That's a very sore subject, so maybe we can talk about something else, like how well Bayern Munich is doing.
That is true. I am a Bayern fan, and we've had a good year pulling it finally some offense together. So hopefully they can continue the second half of the year. You mentioned your uncle in Manchester 40 years ago encouraging you to become a Manchester United fan, and we think about that first range of baby boomers. So he must be kind of almost 80, right?
That's right. I mean, he's definitely in that sweet spot of age group, right? That's heading towards sort of different parts of their retirement life, enjoying retirement, but having a great time.
So let's talk about senior housing. It was a tough few years, but we think it's a compelling opportunity today. What's the story behind senior housing?
Yeah, I mean, look, senior housing it's interesting you talk about it, because that generation of people that are now in the 70s and 80s are now increasingly stepping into different forms of senior housing, whether it's assisted living or independent living. What's really interesting, Rick, is everyone thought senior housing would be the investment property type that the U.S. would gravitate to, and it's still very much true. But going back 10 years ago, everyone thought the baby boomers would start making that segue into senior housing in the 70s, but it turned out it's actually a later decision. They're going into senior housing in the 80s. So there was this period of time when senior housing was pretty soft from 2015, and of course, then unfortunately COVID happened. And so there's been this period of time when senior housing has been pretty weak, but that's in the rearview mirror. And now, of course, we're seeing the full blossoming of senior housing, and it's become a really, really interesting opportunity of investment.
So we have a wave of folks, the first round of boomers, what is it, 10,000 every day, yeah, kind of approaching their 80s. That's incredible. So what about on the supply side? You've spoken about how the demand was a little weak, it's taken a little longer. Obviously, COVID was challenging, and tragically so. What about the supply side?
Well, that's interesting, because we saw a ton of new supply come to the market in the mid-2015s as developers ramped up, expecting that surge in people requiring senior housing. And then, of course, as you said, COVID happened, and then there was this huge sort of vacuum in demand. And that really led to a material pullback in new supply, and we really haven't recovered from that. We're still seeing very low amounts of supply, and our calculation is that we're probably running senior housing supply down 30 to 50,000 units compared to what the actual demand is on an annual basis.
Wow. So we see real tailwinds on the demand side, supply really abated, and we think it's a compelling investment opportunity today.
We certainly think so.
Thanks for joining us for our first installment of our monthly jam. Come back in February to see the next version.
And hopefully stronger Manchester United.